about the women creatives that are out there. You know, every year we have more females that are emerging, they're publishing, they're stepping into all the elements that they should step in.
Absolutely.
What do you think have been some of the major wins, say, over the last 5 to 10 years, maybe?
I think when it comes to women, especially from my experience and what I've seen, I think the biggest win has always been with the introspective work. It starts with self. And the biggest win is in turning lemons into like lemonades or lemon meringue pie or
Yes.
just the beauty. A lot of women started off, they say that there's a popular quote where it's that behind every success story was someone who didn't have a choice. And a lot of times things that were meant to break women specifically down,
Yes.
watching them turn it around and saying this is rock bottom and this is the lowest I will ever be.
Yes.
And watch them be used by God and show up and
Yes.
whatever the initiative is, their incentive, their wives, their kids, their spouses, the next generation, deciding that I have to heal me, or if I don't put in the work, my kids don't eat. Nothing happens if it doesn't move if I don't move it.
Yes.
I think that's been the most successful win. So
what do you think are some of the major challenges and the major struggles then for Black creative women?
So I think the biggest struggle is access to capital. In terms of expertise, so it's access to capital. I'm going to start off with that. That's in terms of the biggest problem or the biggest challenge. Whereas there's a lot of crowdfunding opportunities, or people can get short-term business loans and things like that. It's not readily available for us, and the requirements to actually get a loan or a grant or kind of show continuity and things like that are not necessarily, they're available. It's gotten better over time, especially in the pandemic, and funding for women of color and things like that have gotten better over time. But there's still that disparity. It's still hard for people to get access to funding.
So, as you are thinking about this future that you want to see and that thing that you are imagining for yourself, what do you see for yourself in like 5 years?
5 years from now, I honestly want to see Lisa Nichols because she is one of my touchstones.
That's a good one. Yes.
So share a stage with her.
Yes.
I mean, I think I want to be able, just what you said, to have these kind of conversations where people learn how to talk with one another, learn how to communicate, because we're at that place now where the world has exploded. We have all kinds of communication. We know what's happening across the world where we used to didn't even know what was happening next door.
Right.
So it's so open, and having these conversations is so important. And what you touched on in my story that I didn't really get to talk about much is when I found out I was neurodivergent, and I really just have come out with this idea of, that this is really where your brain has a different chemical balance.
Yeah.
And so I think the conversation needs to be with people who are neurodivergent. The conversation needs to be with people who are dealing with all sorts of, cross sectionality.
Yeah.
And so that's what we need to be doing. We need to be talking, and we need to be talking in a way that's respectful of one another. And that's what I want to do. I want to make those conversations happen.
And don't you find that we become more truthful as well during that period of the cycle? Like the priestess cycle, subconscious, you're right, has come and is over. And with that, there is an awareness and a presence that just allows us to say, I'm going to be totally and absolutely truthful with where I am, how I am, who I am in this moment.
I think Almost like, so our intuition is on fleek.
Yes.
It is so strong, but we're not logical.
Oh.
And this is not me saying, oh, women are so illogical.
Yeah.
No, we're not supposed to be, because the mental will actually stop these truth bombs from landing because it is trying to be powerful. It's ego, it's reason, it's rationale. And actually we solve a lot of problems that reason created illogically.
Yes.
Solve it like this.
So Naomi, what does high visibility mean for Black women creatives?
I think right now we're in a time where companies, organizations are looking to be more inclusive, and they're looking to bring on more Black people, more Black women. But oftentimes that what they're looking for is still very much mainstream. It's very traditional. So I think that increasing visibility for Black women creatives means not only increasing our presence in terms of numbers, but also accepting all of the cultural influence that comes into our art and comes into our work, and making that mainstream as well.
So what are some of the struggles that you've seen for the Black female creator or creative? What are they dealing with, and what is holding them back at this time?
I think there needs to be an acknowledgement of the fact that just having Black people in a space doesn't necessarily mean that we're accepting Black ideas, Black cultures, Black voices, Black history, and Black futures. And I think in order for us to really, really integrate and influence the space in the way that I know is possible, a lot of these organizations need to be open to the fact that our creativity comes with a different lens. So we need to be accepted as we push these new ideas.